control. Gravity is all that I know. She's over me. She's over me. She caught me with her hypnotic. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome to the Paranormal Portal Saturday edition. We are live and in control of your screen, hopefully. I don't know what we're really in control of, but we're here and we're live and unscripted and unrehearsed and we're winging it. But this is the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas, and of course, as it's Saturday, I'm not here alone. I got my co-pilot of the Dread Starship Portal right here, Mr. Don Longbeard. Welcome to the show.
The Dread Longship.
The Dread
Starship
Portal. We are cruising the tides of the paranormal here.
We are.
We are surfing the portal, Don. So how you been?
Yeah.
How's everything going?
Good. Can't think of anything exciting that's really happened this week.
Well, you woke up to another fine day and you're embracing every opportunity life has to offer. And you're here right by my side, and we are broadcasting live around the world. I mean, what the hell else do you need, brother?
The lotto numbers.
Jeez. Wine.
I know, nothing's good enough for him anymore.
Whatever. God, a little high maintenance co-host.
No. Teresa de la Vega says, sexy long-bearded Speedo man.
Ooh.
Oh, my goodness. No, Speedo.
Well, yeah.
Be like an overstuffed sausage.
Be like a fat caterpillar. I don't know what it is. Neither Don or I have any business in the same zip code as a Speedo.
No.
We shouldn't even be in the same area code. So we are fully clothed here in the portal, and that's the way we'll keep it through the duration of the show. After the show, I can't be held responsible. But
there you go.
Anyway, welcome to the show, everybody, and it is the 5th of January, and as of the 5th of January, we have our tonight's special guest with us again, re-entering the portal for the third time.
3 times.
Three times is a charm, and it's a great honor to welcome our next guest, our only guest for the night.
Well,
tonight, but it is, of course, our Paranormal Portal UFO contactee and researcher, Mr. Jim Mount. Welcome to the show, brother.
Woo-hoo.
How's it going?
Good. How's everything going for you?
Good. Hold on. Okay. I'm not.
You're tall and skinny.
I'm not seeing you guys here.
Are you on YouTube or what's going on?
No, I'm on Skype.
Okay, yes.
But usually with our 3 pictures.
Yeah, I put up 3 pictures, and I can see you, and of course Don and I are over on the side here. For those of you that are looking on YouTube, of course you're seeing the same thing, and those of you that are just hearing the sound of our voices but are not watching us, you can go over to youtube.com/paranormalportal and watch the show as it happens live here on the portal, which is always an adventure. But wherever you happen to be catching the show, we're absolutely thrilled you're here. So, Jim, how's everything been going for you? Did you have a good holidays and everything?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
Good. Did Santa come?
I came for kids. Not that way, Don.
Oh,
Man.
I gotta drift right back there.
Some assumptions going on there.
Right. But no, I mean you had a good holidays and everything's going well in the Mount household.
Yes, everything's going fine.
Well, good, and welcome back to the show. Now, you and I have had, I think we've had some really great conversations, and you brought some really interesting viewpoints and information to a subject that's, largely we really don't know what the hell's going on with this. So, your perspective and your information has been really key, I think, to helping at least some of these puzzle pieces start to fit. But has anything happened in regards to you being in contact with extra intelligences? And I don't know whether to say extraterrestrial or extra dimensional. What are they, Jim? Are they extraterrestrial? Are they extra dimensional? Or how would you classify them? I never have asked you.
They're extraterrestrial.
Okay. So
the ones most contact with are the ones that pilot the Orbs.
Okay.
And they come from the Lyra constellation.
Lyra. Okay.
Which is in our universe.
Okay. So, as far as you know, what is the farthest reaches of these beings? How far away are they coming from? So, what is the name of these creatures again that you're in contact with, or these beings? I don't mean to say creatures in a condescending way, but what is the race recognized as?
You mean physically?
Well, by name, I mean, do they have a name for their race? You've said it before on the show, but I have terrible dyslexia with names, so I keep forgetting.
Yeah, their race is called the Afim Spinasti.
Afim Spinasti. Okay. Now
it's spelled AFIM, but it's pronounced Afim.
Afim. Okay. Now those are the ones you said from the Lyra. Lyra, is that right?
Lyra constellation.
Lyra
yeah,
constellation.
they're from the planet called Chimera A Petra.
Chimera A Petra.
And NASA is actually watching their planet right now, and they call it Kepler 22b.
Okay. Now I have heard that name before. Now that's a Earth-like planet as well. Is that right? I mean, it's not some kind of hostile deal where they live underground, but it's they have forests and rivers and all that stuff there.
Well, they have more water than we do on their planet.
Oh, okay. So are they more of an aquatic species then, or are they still more like us?
No, they're still more like us. They do live on land, but their planet just has more water on it than the Earth does. Like they don't have as much land mass as we do.
Okay.
On their planet.
No,
I mean,
go ahead.
You want to see what their planet looks like? Just bring up the photos of Kepler 22b.
Okay, let me do that. Let me do that as long as we're discussing it, because I think that's really interesting. They have photos of it. Photos.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the Hubble telescope pulls it back pretty nice.
22b. All right, I'm pulling it up now. Now, what do they look like as far as in stature? Are they the same height as us, or are they shorter?
No, they range from 32 to 36 inches tall in height.
32 to 36 inches tall. Okay. Wow.
So they're about 3 feet tall.
Okay, so
on average.
Okay.
They have blue and white spotted skin.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, do they have hair? Are they bald, or would they look like a traditional kind of gray, or what would they look? What might I understand how to visualize these things?
Well, they look pretty human.
Okay.
Except they have larger eyes than we do, because their planet is, I guess you would call it like the brightest it would get would be like our twilight.
Oh, really? Okay.
They don't really have like full day sunlight.
Oh, and that might account for the blue tinge
the larger
skin
eyes.
And larger eyes.
That's why they have larger eyes, so they can see better.
Okay. So
in the twilight, and that's one of the reasons why they usually come around at nighttime, because they can't really handle bright daylight.
Oh, that's interesting. That's very interesting. Now, these guys are from this constellation, the Kepler 22b is the name of the planet. How far away have you heard of beings coming from to visit our Earth? I mean, is there a much further away distance that some travel, or other universes, are they visiting us as well?
Oh, the Solopsi Ra, they have 23 colonies all over the universe, scattered out throughout the universe.
Wow. Okay.
And because they don't really have a home planet anymore, they lost their home planet in a war.
Oh.
Like their planet's still there, but it's not livable anymore.
Right.
Okay.
They have 23 colonies scattered throughout the universe.
Wow.
The closest one they have to us is on Mintaka, which is the largest star in Orion's belt.
Oh, okay.
And they're classified as the guardians of the galaxy.
Oh, nice. I love their movies.
They basically police the galaxy.
Oh, okay.
They're the benevolent ones, and they police the galaxy and protect other races from the malevolent ones.
Okay.
They're the oldest race in the universe and the most technologically advanced race in the universe. And they are the ones that have the base on the dark side of the moon.
Oh.
And they have usually about 150 beings are stationed there at any given time.
Okay.
And the reason they're there is to watch over Earth.
Wow. Okay. So they're kind of the guardians, like you said. They're the special forces of all of them, then, I imagine, huh?
Yeah, they're basically the police force.
Okay, right. Now, what would they look like physically?
Well, here, let me just I will shoot you a couple of photos.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that'd be great. It's just neat to have an understanding, of what these beings look like, because obviously, I think the most well recognized kind of alien being would be the gray. You always hear about the grays and the grays and the grays, and so I've heard of the things like the Nordics, which I understand in talking to you. Those are the Pleiadians, the non-militarized Pleiadians.
The
Nordiques, okay, yeah, and so I'm familiar with that, and several of the other ones which we've discussed before. But I and maybe you already talked about this, but I just think if we have images, that could be so much cooler, just because it helps me understand what it is we're looking at. But I think it's just really it's really phenomenal, and you and I, of course, had a few great discussions about this between shows, and I'm really excited. Oh, cool. Okay. So this is Spinasti Ra. Is it Spinasti Ra, or what am I saying? I always have trouble with names. I'm just terrible with names.
Fim Spinasti.
A Fim Spinasti. Okay. So these are the oldest race, but they do kind of have that.
Oh, you're crossing it. It's the Solopsi Ra that are the oldest race.
Solopsi Ra. And this is the Fim Spinasti.
Right.
The okay.
Ifim. Yeah.
Ifim. Okay. Now these are the good guys too. These are the guys that you're in touch with.
Yeah, they're the ones that pilot the orbs that people see all over the world constantly.
Okay.
Now they don't have a base on Earth.
Okay.
They have a presence on Earth constantly.
Oh. Okay.
But they can get to our planet from Primera, from the Lyra constellation. They can get here in approximately 22 minutes in the orbs.
Wow.
22 minutes?
That's how fast the orbs move.
Wow.
I asked one night, I said, how fast can you guys go? And he said, I'm going to circumvent your globe. And he flashed, and then less than 2 seconds, he was back. Wow. So he circled our entire planet in less than 2 seconds.
Wow. And that's in one of those orbs.
That's in one of the orbs, yeah.
My God. That has to be even within the atmosphere, you could move that fast and not cause some kind of cataclysmic chain reaction. They must be using like I don't know, and not that I'm a scientist by any measure, but I mean, could you imagine the friction that would be involved in moving an object that fast? The heat that would be generated would be amazing. So they must be like, I don't know, somehow warping, using kind of a warp field. Would that be right?
No, they generate a warp bubble around them.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And the orbs are a two-part craft. It's a solid orb craft, but it's also a lot of their technology is combined with a plasma. Now, this is a living plasma.
Uh-huh.
So it's a microscopic organism, and they communicate with it telepathically. And the orbs can change colors because the living plasma organism can sense when there's a hostile presence.
Okay.
And it can change colors.
Right, and we discussed that on one of the shows.
About the colors before,
yeah, the red being when they're on like a hunt and kill kind of thing, and was it green when they're healing or whatever?
Yeah, green for healing.
When they're like recovering, repairing.
Blue is friendship.
Blue is, yeah.
Yellow or orange. Some people call it yellow. Some people call it orange. When they're that color, they have detected a threat, but they're not sure what it is yet.
Okay.
And red is, well,
get the hell out the way.
You don't want the red coming after you because that's search and destroy mode.
Yeah, that's bizarre. But I gotta tell you that I still think that is very profound to have a knowledge of what those colors mean, because of course orbs have been sighted, and granted there's many different kinds of orbs, but when we're talking in terms of an unidentified flying object kind of orb, that the color means what they're up to. I think that is so profound, and in a sense it creates a connection of understanding, which to me is really, really cool. Now, what about those orbs? People have shown videos, and I don't know whether they're all real or not. Obviously, I usually believe most of them are bunches of hooey, but sometimes you'll see these orbs like merging and then breaking apart, and like they're going together and then they're breaking apart. Now, are they able to join together as far as you know, or is that just a formation thing and it's just perspective that makes it look like they're coming together and splitting apart?
Well, what it is the orbs get close, but the orbs don't merge together, but the orbs get close together.
Okay.
Oh, basically here, I'll use a couple of these stones. So the orbs come together, the two orbs, they come close, but the plasma that surrounds them encases both of them.
Oh, okay. So it's the plasma itself that's merging, but the craft itself is still individual.
Yeah.
Oh.
Exactly. But you see, if you get 6 of them that go together, right, the plasma field is that much bigger.
Right.
Oh, so that's a strategic kind of thing then, where they'd be merging.
Yeah, like if they have to go over if they have to destroy a craft that's not allowed on Earth, a hostile craft that's coming to the atmosphere, if they have to destroy one that is much larger than them, multiple orbs will join together, so the plasma field is much larger.
Oh, okay.
As this living organism dissolves solid and organic material on contact, the plasma. So whatever the orb touches dissolves.
It just disappears, yeah. Wow.
Because of the plasma that's around it, the plasma that's around it. Like NASA scientists say, like we can't achieve light speed because there's microscopic particles in space, and if one hits a spacecraft when it's going full speed, the spacecraft will disintegrate, and it's not, and the other kind of stuff, right?
Right.
That's thirst technology. But if you're piloting a craft that has a living organism around it, a living plasma around it that dissolves anything upon contact, you don't worry about that, because whatever is coming towards you hits the plasma and dissolves before it penetrates through to hit the craft.
Yeah, that's
so you can
amazing.
Light speed without worrying about anything.
Yeah, you can go as fast as you want at that point,
right?
Because there's nothing that can threaten you.
It's like someone turning all the traffic lights to green for you. You just keep whipping right through.
Well, that's like the picture you sent us the other day about the fireball in Plymouth, in the skies over Plymouth.
Over in the UK, yeah.
Okay, yeah, and it says in the story, it says a Plymouth dad has been mystified by a flaming object seen floating in the skies above the city. And you said, well, it says Mr. Burnett was with his son when he saw the burning light. Now he wants to know if anybody else spotted it. And you said, I believe you said that you see that as basically a red orb searching for a cloaked craft.
Yes.
Wow. So it was on
because when you watch the video, you see every once in a while the red orb would flash.
I didn't, but I only glanced at it briefly. I didn't, unfortunately, have enough time to do that. I'd love to show it on the show, but then we'll get a copyright strike.
Right.
It would flash brighter.
Okay.
And that's when it was pulsing out like, I guess pulsing out like a sensor.
Okay.
Kind of like a radar trying to find the cloaked craft.
Oh, okay.
So the pulse would emanate from it, and if it bounced off anything, it's like, oh, there you are.
Oh, so it's like a sonar radar kind of thing. It's pinging. It's pinging for the craft. Gotcha.
Pinging for the craft. It can't see it, but it was pinging it.
Right.
Oh, gotcha.
It's pulse, and when it pulses, it sends out a ping.
Right.
Oh, that's wild.
Up on.
Now, you and I were talking about this, and I suppose we could probably get into it more on break, but I shared with you, of course, my story years ago after it happened when I experienced the UFO that I saw with only with infrared binoculars, that I couldn't see it with my naked eye. And you and I were talking about that, and it occurred to me that a lot of times people make an assumption that these things are just, they're on video 1 second and boom, they're gone the next. And people are like, wow, it just took it off at such amazing speed that it was just gone. And it occurred to me that they're just cloaking. So they're probably still right there. But people think, oh my God, it just took off and now it's gone. But, and I think that so many people may not realize that they can choose whether or not to be visible in our light spectrum. And they might still be just sitting there, watching.
Staring at you.
Yeah, exactly. And doing whatever. That is I thought that was such a revolutionary thing. But then again, when I was telling you about my story, I thought I had just discovered something about infrared light. But you were like, yeah, people have been using infrared light for years, or infrared vision to see. And I was, really blown away by that. But I think that they are probably always around.
Yeah, you're not the only one that walks.
I'm not the only one.
Because a lot of the time, like I said, you see them. They're there.
Right.
But you just can't see them because they're cloaked.
Right.
Now, you're talking about, like we can't see them, but they're still watching us. It's like, yeah, well, okay. When they're cloaked and they know you were looking at them, they pulled down their pants and against the windows.
That's when your video froze right at pulled down the pants. It was like, bing. And that was a good place for it to happen. That's the sensors going on. But this is always the portal, and always weirdness is going on. So we're about 3 minutes out of break. Now, when we come back, we're going to get into some of the stories that you and I were talking about, and very, very, I don't know if it's disturbing or if it's funny. I'm not really sure what to make of it. But they seem to have an affinity for rabbits, which I never would have guessed. And we will get into that on the other side as well. But I just think it's such an amazing thing to think that they are just always around.
Right.
And it makes me wonder when will it happen? When are they finally going to drop the veil? When are they going to just let us know and let everybody know so we can move on? That's what's really on my mind lately. Is it going to be 2019? There's a lot of people, Jim, saying 2019 is the year of disclosure, but they've been saying it every year for how many years? Do you have any inside track on that?
I think what people are talking about with 2019 being the year of disclosure is the government. Like, disclosure has already happened.
Mm-hmm.
The Canadian Minister of Defense disclosed.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
There was an official high up in the Russian government who was abducted, and he disclosed.
Mm-hmm.
Putin was actually bugging Obama to disclose and threatening, like, you guys have got to disclose soon or I'll disclose for you, blah, blah, blah. But you see, the thing I found with Americans is it doesn't matter who discloses.
Mm-hmm.
They won't believe it until it comes out of the president's mouth.
Well, yeah, I don't know if that's so true for our current president because there's plenty of people that can't believe anything he says. But that's not me bashing anybody. It's just our politics
Well, no,
are
yeah,
so.
that's pretty much a fact.
Yeah, unfortunately, the office of the president seems to have taken a blow this last cycle. But I hope that can happen. But my point is why don't they just drop their skirt themselves? Why don't they just go, hey, you know what? We're here. Screw you guys. And we want to make things better.
2025.
2025? That's
when they reveal themselves.
Oh, okay. So what if this, well, I guess we only got a few seconds here. So I want to get into this on the other side, but I got a few questions about that. But 2025 is, although time is going fast, it's like, I don't know why the wait. And we'll talk about that on the other side because I just think of all the good they could bring to the world now, and they could do now to help us get on track and to figure this stuff out that we've been stuck for thousands of years dealing with. It's like clearly we're not getting it on our own, so we need some help. But we'll get into that on the other side. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take our first break of the night, so don't go away. We'll be back with our special guest, Mr. Jim Mount, here on the Paranormal Portal. and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas, and we just had a Paranormal Portal dance party up in here. Jim was dancing, Don was dancing, and I was dancing. And if you missed it, you'll have to watch the replay. It'll be just waiting for you on demand after tonight's episode. I can't say that's ever happened before, but it was a first for everything. We know how to throw down up in here. That's all I'm saying, you know. So, but okay, our special guest tonight, of course, ladies and gentlemen, is Mr. Jim Mount, who is a UFO researcher and contactee. And we've covered a lot of ground right away in the episode tonight. And some of it's stuff that we touched on before, but I think it's still important to go over a little bit of those things because, you know, I know there's always new people checking out the episodes. So I want to at least introduce them to some of these concepts before we move forward. Now, but before the break, we were touching on disclosure, Jim. And my question is why do they want to wait until 2025 before they reveal themselves? Let's say that the official disclosure happened. Would they move up their timetable and just say, okay, yeah, we're here? Or would they still wait till 2025?
I'd have to ask them.
Okay.
But I mean, like I said, disclosure has already happened.
Right.
With many governments around the world. Now, the U.S. President Eisenhower made an agreement with them to keep their presence unknown in turn for technology.
Which they're not doing real well at, by the way.
Well, probably the reason you don't see it that way is because the only technology the military is getting is their secret military technology that they have.
Oh, right. No, I just mean that they're not really that secret because people are witnessing these things. People are getting abducted. People are having all kinds of variety of interactions with them, including people claiming that they were impregnated by them and then lost the baby by them, that the babies were harvested. For lack of a better term. And, so, I mean, they're not being really very secretive because, I mean, people are witnessing them. They're even seeing them on the news every once in a while where, hey, the people saw this, and of course there'll be some kind of really lame explanation brought out after that, like, oh, it was a swamp gas reflecting off of Venus or Venus reflecting off of swamp gas. And, Yeah. So, I mean, for a technologies that are so far advanced to us, clearly they could be here without ever tipping the scale that they're here, but they're choosing still to be observed. It has to be that they are making that decision because I'm sure they have no problem remaining undiscovered completely, right, if that was what they intended. So it's like they almost want people to know, but they're not coming full out with it.
Well, a lot of the people that actually see them on a constant basis already know about them, and they're not too worried about those people seeing them because it's like, okay, well, that guy already knows us, so he already knows we're here. So,
right.
But they do keep a low profile. Sure. And the reason they do that is because it is one of their, Star Trek thing, prime directive.
Yeah.
Don't interfere with an inferior race, sort of thing.
Sure.
And that goes back to the Anunnaki days, and that's a whole nother show.
Sure, because the Anunnaki.
Because of the Anunnaki, that's why they have a constant presence on Earth now. Is because of what the Anunnaki did.
Right.
Okay.
And that in genetically engineering the modern human race, they interfered with an inferior race, and now they have to keep a presence here and watch over us by order of the council.
Okay.
Because it's like, okay, well, you created these intelligent beings, now you got to police them.
Well, hey, Jim, you've mentioned the council a few times. Talk about the council a little bit if you can. What races are on the council? What kinds of things? Are you privy to anything that they might know other than what affects us?
They don't really talk too much about the council. They keep that pretty close to the vest.
Right.
Now, the Palladians are on the council. They have a seat on the council. The The Selassie Ra have a seat on the council. The Fim Spinasti have a seat on the council. Now, a lot of people talk about the Greys. Now, there's 5 races that are gray.
Oh.
But there is a race that is actually called Graysil.
Okay.
And those are the ones that are commonly referred to as the Greys. They just call them the Greys because their name is Graysil. The race name is Graysil.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And those are the ones. Have you ever seen the video footage of, what do they call him? Alien Bob or?
Oh, Skinny Bob.
Skinny Bob. Yeah, he's a Graysil.
Okay.
Which one is
They've
that?
got. They kind of got like the roundish bobblehead.
Right. Is that the one that allegedly came out of Area 51?
Yes, that's
Okay.
one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's about 5 of them out there that claim to be from Area 51, but yeah, I know the one you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, Skinny Bob, his race is actually called Graysil.
Oh, okay.
And that's the one the American government talks about when they talk about the Greys.
Okay.
It would be that particular race.
Okay. All right. No, I did. I last time you were on, we talked just briefly. I mentioned Linda Moulton Howe and her referring to a race called the Ebens, but I guess I was a little bit mistaken. I went back and checked, and basically that's an acronym that was developed by the U.S. government for extraterrestrial biological entity, an EBEN. But I don't remember the other races that she brought up. But are they indeed the race that's working with the government, or was Skinny Bob just from the Roswell crash and that was the only participation that the Greys had?
They are working with the government.
Okay.
Now it's not the Graysils that are working with the government. Skinny Bob was basically just sort of a involuntary visitor.
Involuntary visitor. That's what happens when you crash.
Well, that's what happens when the U.S. government locks you up.
Right.
As far as I know, the race Symbolic is working with the U.S. government. They are known as the Fallen Ones.
Okay.
And most people don't know them by their race name Symbolic. Most people know them because of where they're from, which is Zeta Reticuli.
Oh, okay.
So they're known as the Zetas. Like everybody just calls them the Zetas,
Right.
but their race name is Symbolic.
And those would be the Betty Barney Hill abduction. Would that be those that abducted them?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, they're the ones.
Because,
Now they had been ordered by the council to keep a presence on Earth.
Okay.
So they are here. I guess you would say they're here voluntarily, but not really.
They don't want to be here, but they are.
Yeah. See, they had a seat on the council, but they lost their seat on the council because the Anunnaki, the Sabbath are masters at DNA technology.
Oh.
And they were forced in silence from the council by the Anunnaki to create a worker-slave race, which is us, which is humans.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they tried to make one race, but they found that one race that they first genetically engineered couldn't work everywhere on the planet.
Mm.
So they had 5 base races so that they had humans that could work in any climate on the planet.
Gotcha.
And they did that through different levels of DNA splicing.
That is really deep. And so the Anunnaki were here, and they created this race, or had this race that is us created. And then when they got what they needed, they just bolted, or did they get kicked off back in the day?
They got kicked off.
Okay.
The council found out what was going on, and they got kicked off.
Okay.
And there was basically a big war between them and the council.
Oh.
And they got kicked off the planet. So they didn't get everything they did want. If they did, our planet would look like Mars because they would have stripped it clean.
Right. Yeah, of all natural resources, yeah.
Okay. So now what do you say about the whole Nibiru potentially returning? Is there anything to that it's going to work its way back around here, or is that just never going to happen again?
People always talk about Nibiru's coming. Nibiru's coming. Oh my God,
Right.
Nibiru's coming. And I was in a group. They actually kicked me out of it. But
Do tell.
I said 95% or more of these photos that people take in Nibiru are taken with a cell phone.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
And what I did was I took my cell phone, came out on the deck here when the sun was setting in the west, and I took a picture of the sun with my cell phone.
Uh-huh.
And then I got my Nikon out, which I take my photos with, and I took a picture of the sun with the Nikon.
Okay.
And I posted 2 photos in the group and said, now, the first photo was taken with my iPhone.
Mhm.
Oh my God, look, Nibiru is there beside the sun. You can see it.
Uh-huh.
And all it was a sun flare on the camera, because you see, the iPhone's got a flat piece of glass covering the lens.
Sure, it does. Yeah.
It causes lens flare.
Mhm.
My Nikon camera doesn't have a flat piece of glass covering the lens,
Mhm.
so there was no lens flare. So the 2 photos were taken simultaneously,
Okay.
but only the cell phone camera had the Nibiru image.
Okay. Gotcha.
But Nibiru as Planet X, as they call it, it came and it's gone. It's like it already passed Earth.
Oh, you mean recently?
Yeah,
Okay. That's what I was curious about.
2015 came and left.
Okay. Well, that's good to know
So
because
people
I'm
talking about coming. It's like, oh man, that was like so 2015.
so that's when it actually passed by, as far as you know, is 2015, and it won't be back again for thousands of years or whatever the hell the turnaround is on that.
I think it's 10,000 years.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
It'd be a long time coming.
And they left me.
They left me behind.
They
It's on
could.
it's on a large multi-universe elliptical orbit.
Oh, even
So it
multi-universe.
goes through 4
Okay.
universes. There's ours and 2 more before it goes back.
Wow.
How the hell fast must that thing be moving then? I mean, is it a planet or is it a ship? What the hell is it?
Well, it's a planet, but it went through our universe in about 7 months' time.
Right, but that's still, I mean, in terms of the universe, that's still, that thing must be cooking about hundreds of times the speed of light. I mean, to get through the universe at that speed, that's pretty intense. I mean, I know we're kind of on the outer rim as far as the placement of our solar system, but I mean, there's still, that's, everything in the universal scale is like, millions of light years across or whatever.
Right.
So, wow, I don't know how they're managing that then.
Yeah, but you got to look at it this way, right? Like our own planet spins at 1,000 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Yet you don't notice it.
Well, sure. Yeah.
Like if you look on a like our
But even
you look at like say you see a star cluster come up over the horizon, like you see Orion's belt come up over your horizon to the east.
Mm-hmm.
By the time it gets to the west, it's been hours.
Right.
Yet we're spinning 1,000 miles a minute
Right.
or
Sure.
1,000 an hour.
And we're traveling around this, but it still takes us that long, a year, to circle our sun once, even at that rate. So, I mean, it just, how do you get a planet to move through different galaxies or universes is just amazing. I mean,
Well, that's why it keeps going through the different universes, because it is going so fast that nothing has time to actually get a gravitational hold on it.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Fast, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, and I'm certainly not I'm not challenging that viewpoint. I'm just kind of marveling at what that means. And to think of it in terms of where we are technologically, where we can barely get stuff off of our planet.
Yeah, no doubt.
And then you've got these other races that are coming from light years away in 18 or 22 minutes. It's like, man, we're definitely on the short bus here. It's like, wow, we got a long way to go.
Well, you gotta look at it this way, okay? I mean, we're infants
Mm-hmm.
in the universe,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Because the Solopsi Ra, their race is older than our planet is.
Wow. Yeah.
So they've got, millions of years ahead of us
Right.
to figure out their technology.
Right.
And just when you look at it in technological terms, what that means, I mean, just think about the things that we've seen in just a few decades of change,
Right.
and then you couple that over a period of millions of years, and it's like, well, my God, what will we be able to achieve eventually? And really, that's it. I mean, we could probably skate on the rings of Saturn and stuff. I mean, there's nothing we won't be able to achieve given enough time, and especially if they are indeed helping us
Right.
and helping us make some of those technological turns that probably took them through their natural course quite a long time, but they're going, oh, here's the cheater way, here's how you get ahead of that deal. So there's a natural progression of technology, and then there's somebody coming in and giving you the answer key. So that's pretty great.
A lot of people think that the Roswell crash was the first recovered craft that the Americans got, but that's not true.
Okay.
The Americans got 2 crashes prior to Area 51, so they already had recovered crashed UFOs. I think the first one was 18 years before Roswell happened.
Wow. Okay.
The only thing that made Roswell so spectacular is the base commander said, called up the news stations and said, "Oh, we recovered a crashed UFO."
Yeah, which was awesome.
And then, and then the Pentagon, of course, stepped in and said, "No, you didn't."
It's a weather balloon.
Yeah.
It's a high altitude weather balloon.
A weather balloon that they send in a whole
Project Mogul. Yeah, that's it.
yeah, a weather balloon that they send a whole regiment to recover. That's pretty
And it
pretty
was
amazing balloon.
splashed over a mile, gouged open the face of the earth. It was just a weather balloon. Hey,
it's just a LR balloon. That's all.
Yeah, right.
Hey, Jim, we got a question in the chat room from our one of our chatters, really, asking the question about your thoughts on the probe from China that landed on the dark side of the moon. Also says, as some whistleblowers state, that's where the Universal Council is, a neutral place for different races of aliens to meet. What do you think of that?
Well, it's a base that the Solopsi Ra has there, and being the Solopsi Ra is in the council can go there if they want to.
Right.
But the council actually meets with heads of government every year.
Huh.
Oh, okay.
So
they do meet here on Earth.
Right. So what do you think of the Chinese landing that capsule or that
rover or whatever?
The rover, yeah.
On the dark side of the moon?
Is that going to be a problem?
I'd be surprised if it doesn't work.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they could probably.
If be surprised if it doesn't work.
Right.
I think they can. If they can make their ships not visible through our naked eye, they can probably hide a base from a go-kart.
Exactly, a go-kart with a GoPro.
Yeah, exactly.
I have arguments with people all the time about the moon landing, right?
Okay.
And I say the moon landing was faked. And they go, no, they went to the moon. And I go, I'm not saying they didn't go to the moon. I'm just saying that what they broadcast on TV is not what Neil Armstrong was looking at.
Oh, okay. Right. I gotcha.
Because supposedly
it was like the final past. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Right. It's like they were up there and they were broadcasting, but they were only broadcasting audio. They weren't broadcasting video.
I guess there's a video that was released years ago, though, of, I wouldn't say years ago. I'd say within the last 10 or 15, I think it was. But it was splashed all over YouTube for a while, and I haven't been able to find it in a while. But it's supposedly video that was taken by Michael, what's his name? It was Buzz Aldrin, it was Neil Armstrong, and Michael... I forgot his name. But anyhow, it was supposedly of an alien-built structure Have you come across that at all?
I'm going to shoot you a picture in Messenger right now.
Aha. See, you ask the right
Okay.
questions, you get the information.
You got to grease the wheel a little bit in here.
Got to get that brain going a little bit.
Okay.
What people don't realize is the Russians sent up Sputnik,
Right.
okay? And the Americans sent up what they called the lunar probe.
Right.
Actually, I'm going to shoot you 3 pictures.
Okay.
And I try to tell people, it's like, okay, if you think both countries at that time spent millions, but in this day and age with the, cost of money and stuff,
Right.
back then it would have been billions of dollars by today's currency to get to a planetary structure that orbits our Earth, to plant a flag and collect moon rocks.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
No, they both saw. Now, the third picture I sent is a picture of what the probes saw on the planet. And that's what started the whole space race. They both saw that structure on the back of the planet. The first picture is actually, it was taken by Edgar Mitchell.
Okay.
And that's Neil Armstrong standing in front of the structure.
Okay. Wow. And then the alien base on the dark side of the moon picture.
Americans went to the moon quite a few times. I can't remember exactly how many times. I think it was like 3 or 4 times.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The last time they went, they actually had contact, and the extraterrestrials told them, "Okay, don't come back." And that's why man's never gone to the moon again.
Oh, well, see, I had heard something like that, yeah.
Right.
But don't come back by who? These aliens?
Yeah,
they said don't come back.
Wow.
Well, yeah, because supposedly on one of those flights they found the mummified remains of a female alien is one of the stories that came out.
Right. Like an old crashed ship or whatever.
Right. That was like Apollo 17 or something like that. The last one,
yep.
Supposedly the last one, I think it was.
Right.
So
this is, I'm looking at the base that
wanted to bring the body back, and that's why they were told, you know what, leave and don't come back.
that's it. You're done.
So it was basically considered a tomb or a burial or just a monument of some sort to them, and once people wanted to disturb it, it was like, hell no, you're crossing the line, get the hell out.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah,
sure.
It's like me. It's like if I planted a garden and you kept hopping the fence and stealing all my freaking romaine lettuce, I'd say, you know what, leave and don't come back.
I don't eat romaine lettuce. It'll kill you.
Yeah. Now, what is going on in the background of this first picture? You sent the first picture showing him standing in front of the structure, but it looks like a comment balloon up behind it, up in the top. Or am I not seeing this correctly? Yeah, it's part of the picture. But it looks like
that's actually a UFO. That was taken when they went up, and it's hard to find. You can find it still, but the actual recording. You remember when they were broadcasting and they said, "Okay, the astronauts have gone on the dark side of the moon now, and we've lost contact with them."
Right.
That's like saying that 1 second the astronauts are in the United States and the other second they're in Australia. You can't go from the dark side to the light side in a matter of seconds.
Right.
Oh, right.
Losing contact, losing radio contact with the astronauts because they're on the dark side of the moon was just a bullshit excuse they used.
Baloney
what they did was they switched over to Channel 9, which was the medical channel.
Medical channel, yeah.
And they still kept talking to NASA. And there's a video that it pops up every once in a while and then it disappears and then it pops up again because they keep taking it down.
Right.
But there was one part that I particularly liked when Neil Armstrong goes, "They're here, they're on the side of a crater."
Right. Yeah.
And they're watching us.
They're watching us. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've seen that. I've heard that. Yeah. And that was recorded on the medical channel, like you said. Yeah.
And that basically is, I think, in tune with this photograph because that's a UFO.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Huh. Craziness.
Watching them.
That is epic.
Okay, we got time. we're at time.
Yep. We have about 20 seconds before we go to our hour break, ladies and gentlemen. So we are going to be right back, of course, with Mr. Jim Mount, who is joining us tonight. And we're going to get into some of his encounters after the break, and along with some pretty curious photos.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, and I'll let Jim explain them, but it's like, wow. So anyway, don't go away, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back for the second hour of our show right here in just a couple minutes. I got to use the loo.
Great.
Just sharing. I'm just sharing. I just feel that closeness. All right, we'll be right back.
Play their games. Everybody loves to place their bets. They don't understand the price I paid. They don't care to comprehend. Trace their lines upon my body, dripping scars across my heart. Raging anger pours inside me as their lies keep falling apart. I am finished with my silence. I am not a stupid boy. No more breaking me with kindness. Just you dance upon my joy. Leading me with empty promise. You're just another fucking mess. Taking off the slice of my sanity. Just make sure that you're well fed. I'm not wrong yet. I'm not talking yet. I'm not talking yet. I'm not talking
I can't see you, Mommy. Where are you? I've never sensed anything like it. Carol Ann is not like those she's with, they're attracted to the one thing about her that is different from themselves. Her life force is very strong. It gives off its own illumination. It is a light that implies life and memory of love and home and earthly pleasures. Something they desperately desire, but can't have anymore. Right now, she's the closest thing to that.
Poltergeists are usually associated with an individual. Hauntings seem to be connected with an area. A house, usually.
Poltergeist disturbances are fairly short duration, perhaps a couple of months. Hauntings can go on for years.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Paranormal Portal. We are moving into our second hour. I said portal. I tried to say portal. It was like my tongue just had a different word in mind than the one I was trying to say, but I meant to say paranormal portal. But we are having a great night tonight, but before we go any further, I just want to remind you guys to definitely check out ayalife.com, AYALIFE.com, and it is an amazing product. It's a CBD oil, completely organic, and it's also infused with the B-cappy from the ayahuasca plant, which is not the psychoactive part, but it's considered the healer of the ayahuasca experience. And it is just the most amazing blend. It is just phenomenal. I've been using it myself and had some really phenomenal results. In honest to God, I don't promote things that I don't already believe in, but in full disclosure, I am involved in it as well. But I need to tell you that I would not broadcast it on my show, and I'm under no obligation to broadcast it on my show. But it's something I really believe in, and I know that you guys will find a benefit from it as well. And again, that's ialife.com. It is truly, I don't know. All I can say is it's really amazing. It tastes great. It's not like dog food like a lot of them are that you need to mix it in with. A lot of the CBDs that are out there, you got to mix them in with something because they taste like you're chewing on a shoe. I mean, they're just horrible. But this stuff is right. You know what I'm saying, right? Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm just saying this stuff is, you can just take it right out of the dropper, and it's completely, I wouldn't say it's like a dessert or anything like that, but it's a nice smooth blend. Tastes great. It's in a coconut oil, and it really, the health benefits involved with CBD oils are, I mean, we're just starting to learn what this stuff can do, but it's really done some amazing things for a lot of people. A lot of feedback coming from people that are using this, and it's just really exciting. So I also would like to say that you're probably not going to find a more reasonably priced product out there, and it's higher quality than 99% of what's out there. Tastes great, and it really works. So check it out. Again, ialife.com. If you use the checkout code of TFR, you can save some money as well. So especially for TFR listeners or people that are listening to the show wherever you're listening to it. So ialife.com. Check it out.
Check it out.
Check it out. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, Don and I are joined by our good friend and UFO researcher and contactee, Mr. Jim Mount, who is joining us from the blustery tundra of Canada. And how's everything for the weather up there, Jim? Has it been a warm winter for you guys, or are you guys getting frozen?
No, it's actually pretty good. It's 5 degrees Celsius right now.
What does that mean? I don't know what your language.
I don't know. In Fahrenheit, I guess it would be 18.
18. Okay. Your ways frighten and confuse me, Jim.
Damn Canadians, they always use that weird metric system stuff too.
I know. Whatever, eh?
You know what it's all about.
We know what it's about.
Oh, jeez.
We love you, Jim, and thank you so much for being on the show tonight and sharing your knowledge and insight and wisdom on the topic, because it's it's a topic there's many people are extraordinarily interested in, but I don't think a lot of people really understand what it all is that we're witnessing when we're seeing things in the sky. And you've certainly brought a whole new life to it for me personally. And you've had quite a few experiences of your own. Now you have been a contactee since you were a child, so it's been your life's journey and something you've been dealing with forever. But you've also had a lot of really interesting sightings, including one that happened right next to your house that you're going to talk to us about now, right?
Excuse me. Yeah. I get these urges to wake up out of the blue, and I usually go outside and have a cigarette because I smoke. And it was about
No.
yeah. So I guess it was about 3:20 in the morning when I woke up.
Uh-huh.
When I sat on the front porch, and I was sitting there having my cigarette, and all of a sudden I see this light come from beside my house, and it stayed about 1.5 feet in diameter. So it was like a tube, and it came across. It was about 1 foot off the ground, and it came across the neighbor's backyard, which is lower than the street. So it went up across the street to the neighbor's yard on the other side of the street, and then it retracted like a tape measure.
Wow.
Now, in ufology, they call it solid light. And if you Google it, you'll probably see some, I don't know, videos of it.
Okay.
I know a lot of the TV shows that do computer reenactions have actually nailed it pretty good.
Oh, okay.
Probably from the description that people gave them when they were telling them about it. But so I'm like, what the hell was that? Because it was quick. Like it went across, and then it came back.
Oh.
Now, a normal flashlight widens out.
Sure.
So it floods the area with light.
Yeah.
Lasers are usually green or red,
Blue. Yep.
or blue. But the thing with a laser is you can't really see it too well with your naked eye.
Right. Right.
And this was like a solid white color. It was kind of like looking at a neon or a fluorescent tube bulb.
Okay.
okay.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
It was solid in color. You couldn't see through it. And so I walked around the side of the house thinking, oh, my neighbor must be screwing around. Walked around the side of the house. He wasn't outside.
Okay.
And his fire pit was just basically glowing embers. So it's like, okay, well, he went to bed a long time ago. But the neighbors had a pet rabbit on their back porch. And it was kept in a cage that was 4 feet long, 2 feet wide, 2 feet high. And the door to the cage was on the top of the cage. Now, to keep the rabbit in the cage, they had probably about a 5 to 7 pound rock sitting on top of the cage.
Okay.
Now, I noticed the light, checked around, didn't see anything. Oh, well, finished my smoke, went back to bed. They woke me up just to see that. And the next morning, I came out on the deck where I am to have my morning coffee with my wife. And she said, I'm going to go water the front garden. Okay, no problem. So she goes around to the side of the house. I could hear her fumbling around with the hose. She goes through the gate. She comes back seconds later running. She goes, oh my God, you got to come see this. So I went around the front of the house, and the neighbor's rabbit was no longer a rabbit.
Wow.
There was fur scattered everywhere. Now, they were just renters, so when they cut the grass, they used the lawn tractor to cut the grass.
Okay.
And they never had a push mower, so they never did the corners. They just sort of drove through the corners in a circle.
Sure.
So the grass was always left in me for the corners, I'd cut, because it's right beside my yard, so I'd always cut the high corners, but I never cut the grass in that corner. And something had flattened down the grass. Now, a lot of people try and tell me it was just a predator that did. Okay, I've seen predators that, like, we've got coyotes in the neighborhood. We've got a hawk. So whenever our chihuahua's out, we hear the hawk. We got to run and grab the chihuahua and throw him back in the house because we don't want him flying away. But I've seen a hawk kill a rabbit, and there's a lot of blood everywhere. Because basically what the hawk does is it lands on its prey and it keeps squishing it with the talons until it, basically kills it, and then it flies away with it.
Right.
Okay.
Coyotes, well, they're like a freaking garburator in your kitchen sink, garbage disposal. They just shred it.
Yeah, they shake them, and
they don't usually even eat it. They'll just shred it and kill it.
Right.
like they did to the neighbor's cat. They did that to our neighbor's cat.
Wow.
It was on my neighbor's front lawn. I was actually outside filming UFOs, or waiting to film UFOs that night, and I heard it. The cat came running around the side, and the coyote chased it, and the coyote banged into the fence, and I looked down the side of the house because I'm on the edge of the deck, which is right near the edge of the house. And I looked down the side of the house, and I saw that coyote, and I'm like, holy shit, I went in the house.
Holy cow.
Holy goodness.
Well, I tell you, I got an 88-pound German Shepherd, Australian Shepherd crossbreed.
Oh, wow.
This thing dwarfed him. It must have been at least 130 pounds, this coyote. It was freaking huge.
That's amazing.
That is a huge
Like,
coyote.
okay, I'm going in.
Yeah.
And the next morning, we found the neighbor's cat. It was like scattered throughout the whole neighbor's front yard. It was like everywhere.
Oh, man. That's brutal.
And blood and guts everywhere. Anyways, if you got the photos I took.
I got the map one up now showing the house and the line and such. And then it says fur trail. So I'll get those images up here in just a second. The fur trail.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Where is it? I thought it would be with those other images, but it didn't show up the same way. So let me get these up. Okay. Here we go. Let me move this over. Okay.
Now that must be the flattened grass.
This is the flattened grass, I guess, yeah. So, oh wow, yeah.
There you go,
And something quite large was sitting there.
Yeah, in
you
this
know what
area.
I mean?
Yeah, because you can see the grass is smashed down. Yep. And then here's the fur trail. Yeah, no kidding. That's quite a spread on it too, eh?
Yeah.
Now, if you notice something about the fur, okay, it's a white rabbit. Now, if it was a predator that got that rabbit, that white fur would be covered in blood.
Huh?
Yeah, that's possible for sure. Oh, there's another.
But it almost, yeah, that's the lower jawbone of the rabbit. That's the only piece of the rabbit I found besides the fur.
Wow. and
now, I don't see any predator that would eat everything except the fur.
Right. Wow, and that's the lower jawbone.
Notice around that piece of jawbone, even on the weeds, there's no blood anywhere.
Yeah, that's true.
You find a single drop of blood anywhere on the scene.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that.
Mhm.
Well, I was just
Go
gonna
ahead.
say, yeah, that's just impossible because I mean, I've got coyotes up behind my place, and they're doing all kinds of strange things, snatching up, this, that, and the other, and you can clearly see, like, if they grab a chicken, the chicken will blow its feathers, and the coyote will generally kill it right there, and then or if it's been seen, it'll run back 20, 30 yards and then pin it down and rip its head off most of the time. So I mean, it's kind of weird that there was no blood anywhere. So
yeah, there is no blood on any of these pictures. You'd think there would be some, and that's really pristine hair. Wow.
So
So it's almost like whatever got it ripped the hair out and then ate it.
Right. But that jawbone, now the other thing, and this is something you and I had talked about.
That little red thing there, that was a little chunk of actual flesh and skin.
In this
And same
blurry
thing,
picture?
there is like no blood.
Oh, right here.
Yeah, it's not blurry there.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, there's no blood anywhere. That's really crazy, isn't it? Huh.
Now I was thinking to myself, okay, why is there only, half of the lower jaw?
Right.
I picked it up and I kept it in
Okay.
case it had it in its mouth, you know what I mean, and spit it out.
Uh-huh.
So I kept on thinking, well, maybe they can swab it and get some DNA off it.
Sure.
And that's why I contacted MUFON, right? But they never got back to me. All I got was an automated. Well, here I can actually show you the automated letter I got back from them.
Oh, nice.
I got a screenshot of it here. It was an automated email response,
And that's all their participation was.
and that's all I got from them.
Hmm.
Nobody ever called. Nobody ever came.
Now, let me ask you,
And-
have you reached out to them about many things in the past as well, or no?
That was the first one that I actually made I sent you the auto response.
Okay.
It's
Yep.
in our chat.
I see it. Yep.
And that's all I got from them on that. Now, I guess it was about 3 months ago. I was talking with the head of the California MUFON chapter.
Uh-huh.
He wanted me to send my photos of the UFOs, so I sent them to him. He said he wanted to have an expert analyze them. And I said, well, go ahead. They have been analyzed. They came back 100% legit.
Uh-huh.
They have been analyzed. And he said, okay, I want my guys to analyze them and I'll get back to you. So I waited, a couple, 3-4 days. Okay, have you guys analyzed them yet? No response.
Jeez.
He was online because I could see he was online because you know how you're in,
Yeah.
Facebook Messenger chat. You can see the little green dot beside the person, so they're online.
Right. Yeah.
And I sent him another message. I go, any response about the photos yet? And no response from the guy.
Wow.
So I sent him back another. So after about a week and a half, I sent him another message. I go, yeah, typical MUFON.
Wow.
Don't want to investigate shit any further that is real.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's too bad.
Only, broadcast and put on your TV show the shit that can't be proved.
The things, yeah. Jim. It's a show for all ages, by the way.
Hey Jim, we got another one, and we've got another question in the chat room, and you've answered this question before, but if you could touch on it real quick. Somebody asked, how are you in contact with them? Do they come down and get you, or do they come and visit you, or do they, is it through telepathy, or do they send you email? What do they do?
When I was 7 years old, they partially activated my pineal gland, and all of my contact is telepathic with them.
Okay.
Now I am going to shoot you guys a photo of me. Like you guys can see
Right.
my forehead.
Yeah,
right?
you talk about you get a red spot on your forehead when they're communicating with you.
Well, that's when they're monitoring me.
Oh, okay.
I can show you a picture of me when I was actually communicating with them.
Okay.
There it is. Boom.
Bada boom.
Now that's what you call your third eye dent.
Oh, yeah. Looks like you took a hammer right in the head there.
Yeah, ball peen.
Yeah. Wow, it really
Do you
does.
see a dent in my forehead right now?
Let me shrink this window so we can get a
side by side.
Yeah, get a side by side here of you. So, yeah, there's
I got another picture of me in the same type of sunlight. I'll just shoot you that one that you can put side by side with it.
Okay.
This was obviously in the same basic spot you're sitting now, except without the fan.
It's just an angle.
Yeah, exactly. Oh. Well, that's because the person who was who took the picture. I'm sitting in this chair, and they were sitting in that chair.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay. Gotcha. All right, let me see if I can.
Okay, this is a picture of me that actually you guys use. That was me at Alien Con. They were monitoring me there. That's why the red dot's there.
Right. Was this what do you got there?
let me just get this. I'm trying to catch up.
Yeah.
Just trying to catch up. All right.
Oh, there we go.
Kim?
Yeah.
Yep. So, yep, I got this one. So let's move this one onto screen here. And there's a red mark on your head on that one too, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that was taken at Alien Con.
Okay.
That's actually when I was talking with Sasha Alex Lesson,
Right.
who is the world's leading expert in the Anunnaki.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And I met him at registration. And he's never seen pictures of me. We've always chatted online, but he's never seen pictures of me. So I introduced myself, and he says, "Oh, it's finally nice to meet the alien ambassador."
You're the ambassador for sure. Yeah. That's really cool. So now getting back to that rabbit.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. I just wanna ask you, what do you think was going on there? I mean, so the light happened. Those are two. They seem like very different events, but I mean, it's got to be more than just circumstantial. That first you see this light, and the next thing you know, the neighbor's or the neighbor's rabbit is all shredded. What's going on there?
Well, the solid light is a probe that they use,
Okay.
and they can direct it in any way they want. Like it can come down to the ground, go across the ground, and if they sense something, they can turn it to the right or they can turn it to the left. They can bend it any way they want.
Oh, kind of like that deal in the Abyss where it was water that would kind of come up. And,
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Exactly. And they can bend it and turn it any way they want. And it takes readings from around itself like a probe.
Okay.
And it probably came down and it was looking for something for them to eat. Then I guess they found the rabbit.
Now,
this is the weirdest part. Okay.
Mhm.
This was about 8 o'clock in the morning when Kelly found it. 10 o'clock in the morning, 2 U-Haul trucks showed up at that house and a whole bunch of cars. There was like 20 guys and 2 U-Haul trucks. And we had just moved in. Like we had only moved in like maybe a month prior to this.
uh-huh.
We just bought the house and moved in. So we never met the neighbors. And 2 U-Haul trucks showed up with about 20 guys. They had those 2 trucks packed within about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and they were gone.
Oh. So they bolted. They just got the hell out of there.
He bolted. So that house doesn't have a basement because we're on an underground river here.
Okay.
And I've only got a half basement. And a lot of people that come over say, "Oh, what the heck's that over there?" I go, "It's a sump pump." "Why do you have a sump pump in your backyard?" I go, "It keeps the groundwater from going in behind the pool liner because I've got an in-ground pool."
Mm-hmm.
And the guy who actually owns the house owns the California hot tubs store down the street from us
Mhm.
on the major street. He came over, knocked on the door, and said, "You know where my renters went?" I went, "Dude, they just like packed up 2 days ago and left." Word to anybody, they just took off. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, that rabbit was in the cage under their bedroom window.
Right.
Mm,
What did they see?
right.
Oh, good question. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you had said,
What did they see that made them pack up without saying a word to anybody in the neighborhood and take off in 4 hours' time?
wow. Now you said that
And
there was
then
a
for days after that, cars would pull up on the street beside their yard, and people would point over to the corner where the rabbit was found, and they'd be like, pointing and talking amongst themselves, and then they'd drive away. So I'm thinking, okay, they must have been telling some people something.
Oh,
Right.
okay. Now you also said that there was a stone, a heavy stone on top of this
Right.
cage, and you had remarked to me, and I don't know if we covered it now, but you said that stone
No.
was still on the cage even the next day. So it was
Yeah, the rabbit
replaced.
was not in, so that also confirmed that it wasn't a predator,
right.
like a coyote, because what else would take a rock off the cage, take the rabbit out, close the cage, put the rock back?
Right. Yeah. There's no animal in the world that would do that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, if somebody was just stealing the rabbit, they wouldn't even bother. They'd just snatch the rabbit and leave it all open and just out the door they go.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
they,
exactly.
maybe they thought it was like an extraterrestrial drive-through.
I'd like to have the fried rabbit, please. Rabbit feet.
McRabbit.
Yeah, McRabbits. Yeah. They just kind of pulled up and had a little snack. Maybe that's what freaked them out, is they thought that was the order window into the bedroom.
Oh God.
Hey, you got fries with this?
Well, we were kind of hungry, but now we think we're just going with the light snack of the rabbit and not the people.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that's another question that comes up every now and then, Jim. Are we food for some of these aliens?
Ooh, yeah, that's a good question. Oh, we'll
what
answer
I
that.
know.
We'll answer that after the break.
Hold on, Jim. Hold
So
on.
hold that thought. We'll be back after this messages in just a couple minutes. Don't go away, everybody. We'll be right back. and gentlemen, we're back, and we are down to the last half hour of the show tonight. It's just going so fast, but that's always the good sign of a good conversation. So welcome back, everybody. Hope you had a good break, and you got all the breaking you needed to do because it's time to get busy here. So, of course, tonight, Don is here with me.
That'd be me.
That is you, and we are joined by our good friend and guest tonight, Mr. Jim Mount, who is a UFO researcher and contactee. And he is joining us from the frozen tundra of Canada.
Yeah, full.
And before the break, the question came up, are we on the menu to any of these? So I'm going to give it back to you, Jim, to field that one. Hot potato.
Not that I know of.
Oh.
There is a race that's not allowed on Earth. One of the races they protect us from. I've mentioned them to you before. They're the Mateer,
Right. Yep.
and I can shoot you a picture of one of them.
Okay.
My iPhone's. I had to go get my cord because it's saying low batteria.
Okay.
But they have been known to abduct people, take them off planet, and use them as slaves.
Oh, okay.
But hold on. They love to screw with people.
Oh, really?
Now, there was a movie that was made based on one family's interactions with them. It's a movie called Dark Skies,
Okay.
and it's quite good.
And it's pretty accurate from what you understand?
Yes, sir.
So they're not allowed here, but they're showing up anyway.
I have dealt with them myself, and they are quite nasty buggers.
Right. Wow.
They actually, there you go. They actually telekinetically tried to control me and make me do things in Toronto. That'll be another time.
Okay. Oh yeah, they're vile looking things, aren't they?
Yeah, they're not the kind of guys you'd want to take out to dinner.
Because you might be on the menu.
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
We're
But,
inviting you out for dinner.
You're it.
You're it.
Yeah.
That's it.
So now, how tall are these things roughly? Are they our height? Generally, about the same size.
Yeah, these guys are about 5 foot on
Okay.
average.
Okay.
Uh,
Now, how do they physically differ from what we understand as the Greys? I mean, I can't really see much from the picture other than that's a huge skull and a really skinny neck and a small chin.
Yeah, they have no nose. They have no ears because they are telepathic.
Okay.
They have telepathic and telekinetic abilities. Now they do have kind of like I guess you would call it a sonic language.
Oh,
Because
okay.
I had a friend who was being harassed by them,
Right.
who lives in Mexico. And she sent me a message one night and on Messenger. And she said she saw a UFO and then poop emoji stuff started happening.
Uh-huh.
Like books were being thrown at her, pieces of china, her kitchen cabinet doors were opening and closing, and they were throwing stuff at her.
Wow.
Oh.
Told her, I said, okay, call out for the FM to help you. And I'm still talking to her on chat. And probably about 3 or 4 minutes, she said everything stopped.
Oh.
There was no activity.
Mm-hmm.
But activity started prior to her or after her seeing this UFO. And the following night, I was in the bedroom watching TV. My wife was sleeping. I was watching TV. And I heard some strange noises in the backyard. And it was basically them. They came to yell at me for telling her how to get rid of them.
Oh.
And I caught it on audio with my iPhone from the bedroom window. Like I couldn't see anything, obviously, because it's an iPhone, doesn't have infrared and stuff.
Okay.
So I filmed about 15 minutes of them screaming at me.
Wow.
And then I said, let's screw this. And I grabbed my camera, flipped it over to night vision, and went outside. And they were in the neighbor's yard on the other side of the cedar trees, which is on the other side of my pool. So I came down because my pool is like 2 feet from the cedar trees on the one side. There's only like a 2-foot concrete walkway. So I didn't want to go on the other side of the pool in case I tripped on something and fell into the pool with my camera.
Yeah.
So I stayed on the house side of the pool and it filmed. And I had, well, you guys were talking to him one night after one of my shows. Andy?
Right.
Yes.
Sent him the footage because he's a producer and he enhanced it. And he said, he called me on the phone and he says, I enhanced the footage. He goes, you can actually see them.
Oh, wow.
Walk forth behind the trees. But all my camera picked up was when I came out with my Nikon, I only got 15 seconds worth of footage. And then my battery was sucked dry and the camera went dead.
Of course.
But just before the camera was sucked dry, a flash of light came through the cedar trees.
Mm-hmm.
And then as soon as that flash of light came through the cedar trees, the camera just went choop, done.
Wow.
The battery went from full to nothing.
Wow.
So they were
It was
chased.
only actually 15 seconds worth of footage.
Okay.
But it was like, you know how dolphins communicate?
Yes.
Through a series of clicks?
Yep.
That's what it sounds like in the video.
Oh, wow.
Oh, interesting.
All right.
It's clicks. And the iPhone really didn't pick it up. But at first, it was one on one corner of the yard and one on the other corner of the yard. And they were clicking together. And then they both, when I came outside, they were both on the opposite side of my pool slide.
Jeez.
They both centered in the neighbor's yard behind the pool slide, and they were both clicking at me. And then, poof, the camera went dead, and then the clicking stopped, and I said, "Well, screw this. They're not here anymore. I'm going in the house.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'm going back to bed."
We got a call here, Jim. Let's get to our call and see what's going on here. So, is this you, Haxer? Hello?
Hey, hello there.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah,
You are on the air,
pretty
sir.
good. Just going to bat for Nelly, so I got a question for you guys.
Sure.
All right. So we know that down in Antarctica, there are lots of countries, and we are not allowed to go visit. Oh, but Admiral Byrd said this. There's lots of stuff out there. What are we doing? Blah, blah, blah. Hitler even put down a little base down in Antarctica. So please ask our guest, what is up with Antarctica?
Okay.
I'll drop the line so you can just answer.
All right, brother. Thanks for the call. I appreciate it.
You betcha, man.
All right. So, Jim, what do you think? What's going on in Antarctica?
Well, there's rumors that Hitler had a base down there,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why Byrd went down there. And it's also rumored that Hitler, actually, he was using psychics and mediums to make contact with them.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently he did make contact with them.
Okay.
Let's see if I can find another photo and shoot it off to you that you can put up. And Hitler had the Panzer tanks and a lot of the flying wing and a lot of technology during the Second World War that the Americans didn't have.
Mm-hmm.
But luckily for the rest of the world, Hitler didn't have enough time to perfect the technology to be able to use it, except for the V-2 rockets.
Yeah. Yep.
He had to use them. He was lobbing them on England pretty hard.
Yeah.
But that was also part of the technology that he got. And the scientists that were working on this technology were taken by the United States. What was it? Werner von Braun or whatever it was.
Yep, right.
Actually head up NASA.
Yep.
And I'm just looking for this photo here. But I try and explain to people that, you know how I was talking on the other show about God,
Mm-hmm.
which is a pagan word, actually, is an acronym for Guardian of Dimension, the King of Kings. That was the Palladian king.
Okay.
Right.
And he artificially inseminated Mary. There, I just sent the photo.
Okay.
Artificially inseminated Mary with his own sperm and gave us Jesus, which was to help lead mankind. And the Romans captured him. It was Judas the Jew that handed him over to the Romans.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Romans asked the Pharaoh at the time, which the pharaohs were basically hybrids that were left behind by the Anunnaki.
Oh, okay.
The Pharaoh said to crucify him. So they killed Jesus. Now, the Pharaoh gave the order to have Jesus crucified. The Egyptian Empire was the first empire to fall. The second empire to fall was the Roman Empire. It fell years later. And apparently it fell at the hands of 500 barbarians that had inferior weaponry at the time to the Romans. And the Romans had millions of soldiers. Yet the whole Roman Empire fell within a week to 500 barbarians on horseback.
Yeah, that doesn't really make sense,
500
does it?
barbarians. Yeah, okay.
Uh-huh.
5 Palladian warriors, more like it.
Oh,
And then,
okay.
rumor is that the last, shall we say, punishment for the death of Jesus. So it started with the one who gave the order, the one who captured, and then the last and final one was the order, and it was carried out by Hitler. The revenge for the death of Jesus was carried out by Hitler. The extraterrestrials gave him technology in turn for the Holocaust.
Wow.
That was the final punishment from God against the three, I guess you would call it, sections that was involved in the death of Jesus.
Wow.
First to go was the order of death, which was the Pharaoh.
Mm-hmm.
The second was the ones who carried out the actual crucifixion was the Romans. And then the last and final was the one who handed Jesus over for the death and crucifixion was the Jewish.
Wow.
Okay. That's a whole new take on all that. That's crazy. Wow. that's I don't know what to say.
I kind of stunned silence on that one.
I mean,
It's
that's
crazy.
That's just a whole different angle, and you know, I don't pretend to know these things, so I don't know what to say. But that's really really interesting. We actually have another call. Do you want to get to that, or did you have more to say about the Antarctica thing?
No, go ahead.
Okay. All right, let's get to this other call, and this is Diane.
Ms. D.
Miss D, you're on the air.
Hello there.
Hi.
Excuse my voice. I have a little bit of laryngitis.
Oh, okay.
But I had to talk to the guy. It's really cool that you have that red spot, because I get a red spot like that too. I always thought it meant something.
On your head,
But
yeah.
I get it lower down. Over my,
Okay.
my forehead, over my third eye.
Oh.
And it goes up about sometimes and actually makes like a line there. But, Jim.
Yes.
I was just going to say, these beings that you were talking about that are the not nice ones, they yelled at you for trying to help people be able to get rid of them.
Yeah, the
You
material.
want to tell all of us, if you dare, how do you get rid of them? Because there are people who have actually had some trouble. And Would you mind?
Well, I've actually helped at least a half a dozen people get rid of them. And I say, just basically, you don't even have to say it out loud. Just think it. A FIM, help me.
And you just project
And-
that
Say it
out.
again, please.
The
A
FIM.
FIM,
Yep.
please help me.
Okay. I want it written out by somebody because I'm not hearing it right.
Right. Hey,
But-
Jim, spell
Jim,
spell a FIM again.
It's spelt AFIM, but it's pronounced AFIM. There's a silent. It's like a silent H in there.
Okay. Well, thank you because, I am called in to get rid of a lot of things. Sometimes I have my ways, but if there's an easy way to get rid of those guys, I need to know. So thank you so much. Thank you
Oh,
so much.
no problem.
Okay.
All right, Dee. I hope your voice gets better.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, you get some rest, sweetheart.
And
Thanks.
the other thing is, how do I know what this? I have always wondered how do I know if this is a thing? I mean, it would pop out when I would be at certain kinds of meetings. This red thing here would be like and it would sort of feel funky and itch and stuff.
Oh.
Can you explain any more about that? I don't know that that's the same as what you've got, but I know that various people have said they've seen things there on me. And so I got here late, and I'm trying to catch up on everything, okay?
Sure.
Basically, have you had contact with any of them?
Oh, yeah.
Because when they talk with me, it's like you can hear them throughout your whole head. You can even hear them like through your ears, so you can hear everything. It's like they're sitting right there, but nobody else around you hears them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like you're hearing actual voice. It's not just a thought in your head. It's an actual voice you're hearing, but nobody else hears it.
Okay.
And it only happens
That happens
when it's got the
very
dent.
often.
Say that again, Dee.
I've had that happen, but not very often. And I didn't necessarily connect it with this. And I'm not sure that is the same thing yet. But it's interesting that you have that. And, it's just I had to ask, okay?
Sure.
Thank you very much. Okay, I'm going to let somebody else call now.
All right, Dee. Thank you so much.
much.
All right. Take care. Get some rest.
Yes.
All right. And we got
You too.
Okay. Good night. We got another call to get to, and this is area code 727. You're on the air. Hello, are you there, Chris? Oh, doesn't seem like it's working.
Nope. Interesting.
All right. Well, there's nothing we can do. Hello, are you there? One last chance. You're on the air. Area code 727. All right. Well, I guess this phone's not working or something.
All right.
That's unfortunate, but I'll just. Are you there?
Hi. Do you read me?
There, now you are. Yeah, there you are. Sorry about that.
All right.
You're on the air.
Right. No problem. Hey guys, Chris Steiner here. Just wanted to ask about the Mandela Effect, if any ETs have commented on it, and if so, maybe would they have mentioned whether it's a localized event or a phenomena for, say, the solar system or several solar systems, or is it maybe the whole of creation, if they've ever said anything to say about it?
Oh, great question. And what do you say, Jim? You know what the Mandela Effect is, right? Are you familiar with the Mandela Effect, Jim?
No, I'm not actually.
Okay, so essentially what's going on is that people seem to have memories that have varied from the reality that we're in. In other words, like simple things like the Berenstain Bears versus the Berenstain Bears, mirror mirror on the wall versus magic mirror on the wall. So there's these shared memories that people have that completely go against the way things are now. And some people are theorizing that, have we gone through a dimensional shift, and therefore, we're from a different dimension, was as a global event. There's so many more, like the Bible saying the lion lay down with the lamb, and now it says the wolf lays down with the lamb, and lots of variations like that people have come across, and they're calling it the Mandela Effect because people remember Nelson Mandela dying like in the 80s or 90s, and then he actually died in like 2012 or 2011, something like that. And people are swearing that they remember the funeral and everything. So there seems to be this shift that people have gone through, and it creates all of these memory anomalies that aren't lining up. Now, psychologists are kind of penning it off as, it's a faulty memory.
Right.
But when you have whole segments of the population remembering these things, it doesn't quantify anymore as just a psychological anomaly. There's something going on. But if you're not familiar with it, I guess it's hard to know whether that's a global. But can I ask you, Jim, between now and then, can you contact them and ask them about the Mandela Effect and what they have to share about that?
Yeah, sure, no problem. I can do that.
Okay. So, but you haven't heard of any kind of shifts?
Thanks.
Jim?
Thanks. I just wanted to add, if you could please ask about a particular one also, that the common history is that currently that it's been flip-flopping actually, so it seems like we have timeline changes, and sometimes some of them go back and forth. One is that the common memory is our solar system has been towards the outside of the Milky Way galaxy on the Orion arm of the galaxy. And then it went to historical records showing that we are towards the center of the galaxy on the Sagittarius arm. Wow. And then, like I say, that's one that's flip-flopped where the historical records has changed. But the most common memory is that we've been on the towards the outer edges of the Milky Way galaxy on the Orion arm. So I have a feeling that it's maybe a fifth of the galaxy is impacted by it.
Sure.
I don't know if it's centralized or not, but anyhow, that's just my feeling.
Well, that's really interesting, and I hadn't heard about the star chart changes, but that is really amazing, and I'm really, really curious about that now. So we'll definitely get some answers for you, and Jim can address that the next time he's on. But we sure appreciate your call, brother. Thank you so much for being a part of the show.
Thank you. Have a good one.
All right.
The funny thing about him mentioning that is their closest colony to us, the Solapsi Ra, is Mintaka, which is Orion's belt.
Oh, right.
And I was born on December 21st, which is the changeover date from Capricorn to Sagittarius.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Now, if you look at the signal that SETI got,
right?
The WOW signal, right?
Yep.
It originated from Sagittarius.
Okay.
My birth date is beside the WOW signal that they circled.
That's right. You mentioned that before. Yeah, that is crazy. There's all kinds of things going on, but unfortunately, we're down to about just under a minute left of the show. Jim, how can people stay in touch with you or get in touch with you if they want to continue this dialogue?
I'm on Facebook.
Okay, so just look for Jim Mount on Facebook, ladies and gentlemen, and you can get in touch with him as well. If there's something you'd like to know about that we didn't cover on the show, just reach out to Jim that way. And we'll definitely have you back, and hopefully you'll have some answers about that. Now I'm really curious about that.
Yeah, no doubt. We're gonna have to message him and kind of fill that out a little bit for him so he can
Yeah.
ask the right question.
Well, sure. I mean, I would just recommend that before you ask them, you spend a little bit of time. Just look on YouTube for Mandela Effect,
Right.
and you'll find tons of people, making references to things that are changed and different. And I'll bet you some of them will resonate with you as well. Like you'll be like, yeah, wait, that's different. I mean, everybody seems to have some kind of correlation to this. So, but thank you so much for being here, brother. I really appreciate your time and spending the evening with us.
No problem.
All right. Well, you guys have a great night. Jim, have a great night. And thank you all, ladies and gentlemen, for being with us. Stick around for Beyond the Veils coming up. I don't know if it's a live episode tonight, but I know Chris is working feverishly to put back together his studio and get back out on the airwaves. So we love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. I'll be back tomorrow night with some bedtime stories for you guys at 7 p.m. Pacific time right here on YouTube. And you guys take care. We'll
Good
see
night,
you.
everybody.
We'll see you soon. Good night.
Bye. Thanks, Jim.
Okay, see ya.
Good night.
Truth Frequency Radio is your